Which undervalued BMW classics should you grab in 2026? I'm going to be completely honest with you from the start of this video. Most people looking at classic BMWs as investments in 2026 are focusing on the wrong models. Everyone talks about the M1 or the 2002 Turbo. But what if I told you the truly undervalued gems are hiding in plain sight? Cars you can actually buy, drive, and potentially make serious money on. These three classics offer something that's becoming increasingly rare in today's market: genuine value. Before I reveal my top 3 picks, let me tell you what I mean by undervalued. I'm not talking about the cheapest BMWs. I'm not even talking about cars that will definitely shoot up in value tomorrow. I'm talking about iconic BMW models that deliver an experience far beyond what their current price suggests. Cars that give you that classic BMW feeling without requiring you to sell a kidney. What makes this particularly exciting is that we're at a unique moment in automotive history. As BMW rushes toward electrification with their iX and i4 lineup, these analog machines from BMW's golden era represent something increasingly precious: a pure, unfiltered driving experience that simply cannot be replicated by modern technology. To find these hidden gems, I've spent months analyzing bring-a-trailer results, talking with BMW specialists, and studying the trends that most collectors are missing. And here's what's crazy. All 3 classics I'm about to show you are still flying under the radar in 2026. Everyone's just chasing the obvious choices. But before I reveal these cars, there's something critical you need to understand about the BMW market in 2026. The days of accidental BMW investments are over. 10 years ago, nobody wanted an E30 M3. You could buy one for around $25,000. Today, you're looking at well over $150,000 for a good example. So, what separates the cars that will maintain value or appreciate from the ones that won't? 3 crucial factors: production numbers, how rare is it? Historical significance, what makes it special? And the driving experience, does it deliver that signature BMW feeling? All my picks excel in these categories. Pick number 3, BMW E28 5 Series. Starting with number 3 on our list, the BMW E28 5 Series. Produced from 1981 to 1988, the E28 represented BMW at its absolute peak, before they got complicated, before they got heavy, and before they lost their way with iDrive and run-flat tires. Look at these lines. This is what a BMW should look like: clean, purposeful, elegant, without being flashy. The E28 brought us the legendary shark nose design that would define BMW's aesthetic for decades. But more importantly, it brought us something that's almost extinct today: a BMW that was built for drivers, not accountants. In 2025, the average market price for an E28 535i sits around $18,500, fitting comfortably within the typical range of $12,000 to $28,000 depending on condition and mileage. But here's where it gets interesting. BMW made just over 722,000 E28s across all variants worldwide. That sounds like a lot until you realize that BMW now makes that many 5 Series in less than 6 months. For collectors seeking the ultimate E28, the M5 commands significantly higher prices, averaging $85,000 to $120,000 for good examples. But here's the secret. The 535i delivers 85% of the M5 experience for about 20% of the price. The same basic chassis, the same steering feel, the same analog purity that makes these cars special. When shopping for an E28, there are several critical areas to inspect that can make or break both your ownership experience and investment potential. First, check the rear subframe mounting points. These cars are notorious for cracking in this area, and repairs can easily exceed $8,000. Second, examine the front strut towers for rust and stress cracks. The E28's McPherson strut setup puts significant stress on these areas. Finally, insist on seeing maintenance records for the timing chain and guides. These M30 engines are bulletproof when maintained, but catastrophic when neglected. But here's what makes the E28 truly special. It sits at this perfect intersection between classic and usable. The 3.5-liter M30 straight 6 produces 182 horsepower, which doesn't sound like much today, but the delivery is absolutely magical. A buddy of mine owned an E28 535i for 2 years, and I can tell you firsthand, this car delivers 90% of the experience of an E39 M5 for about 15% of the price. The steering is telepathic, no power assist, just pure mechanical connection between your hands and the front wheels. The throttle response is immediate. The sound is intoxicating. That straight six growl that BMW has never quite recaptured, and it's still analog enough to feel like a true classic but modern enough to drive every day. The E28 also represents something that's becoming increasingly rare, a BMW that was engineered without compromise. No cost-cutting, no planned obsolescence, no electronic nannies. Just pure engineering excellence from an era when BMW's motto was the ultimate driving machine, and they actually meant it. If you're looking to invest in an E28, focus on the 535i or 535is models. The 535is in particular is showing strong appreciation with its sport suspension and limited slip differential. Low mileage examples are already crossing the $35,000 mark, and I predict they'll hit $50,000 within 5 years. But as impressive as the E28 is, it's overshadowed by our number 2 pick, which offers something even more extraordinary. Pick number 2, BMW E31 8 Series. The legendary BMW E31 8 Series. When BMW unveiled this car in 1989, they weren't just making a statement. They were throwing down the gauntlet to Mercedes, Porsche, and every other luxury manufacturer. This was BMW saying, "We can build the most advanced, most beautiful, most capable Grand Tourer in the world. Just look at it. Those pop-up headlights, that long hood, the pillarless side glass, the integrated rear spoiler. This isn't just a car, it's automotive sculpture." The E31 was so far ahead of its time that it still looks futuristic today, nearly 35 years later. But the 8 Series wasn't just about looks. This was BMW's technology showcase, the first production car with a V12 engine, the first with electronic throttle control, the first with integrated roll bars. BMW spent over $1.5 billion developing this car, which in today's money would be close to $3 billion. They were serious about making the ultimate Grand Tourer. In today's market, E31 8 Series values vary dramatically based on the engine. The 840 Ci with the 4.4-liter V8 averages around $28,000 for a good example, with prices ranging from about $18,000 for higher mileage cars to $45,000 for pristine specimens. The 850i with the 5.0-liter V12 commands significantly more, averaging $42,000, with exceptional examples reaching $65,000 or more. Here's why the E31 is criminally undervalued for 2026. Production numbers tell the story. Between 1989 and 1999, BMW built just 31,062 8 Series cars total. Compare that to the Porsche 911 from the same era, where Porsche was building nearly that many cars every single year. The 8 Series is genuinely rare, but what really makes the E31 special is its place in automotive history. This wasn't just BMW's flagship, it was their moonshot. They threw everything they had at creating the perfect Grand Tourer, and in many ways, they succeeded. The 850i could hit 155 miles per hour while delivering the comfort of a luxury sedan. It had more computing power than the Space Shuttle and more advanced aerodynamics than most race cars. The driving experience is unlike anything else BMW has ever made. The V12 is smooth as silk, delivering power in a linear, almost electric-like surge. The chassis is incredibly sophisticated. Multi-link suspension all around, four-wheel steering on later models, and a level of refinement that puts modern BMWs to shame. When shopping for an E31, there are some specific things to watch out for. The electronics can be problematic. These cars have more computers than most 2000s cars, and finding replacement parts can be challenging. The V12 engines are generally reliable but expensive to maintain. Expect to spend $3,000 to $5,000 annually on maintenance if you drive it regularly. The most common issues include failing window regulators. The pillarless design puts extra stress on the mechanisms, leaking hydraulic systems for the pop-up headlights, and deteriorating wiring harnesses. A pre-purchase inspection by a BMW specialist is absolutely essential. But here's what most people don't understand about the E31. It's not just a classic car, it's a piece of BMW history. This was the car that proved BMW could compete with anyone, anywhere, at any price point. It established BMW as a true luxury brand, not just a sports sedan company. The investment potential is enormous. These cars are already appreciating rapidly in Europe, where collectors understand their significance. In the US, they're still relatively unknown, which creates a massive opportunity. I predict that within 10 years, a good 850i will be worth $80,000 to $100,000, and the rare 850 CSI will break $200,000. The E31 also benefits from what I call the halo effect. As BMW's flagship from the era, it carries prestige that lesser models simply can't match. When people see an 8 Series, they know it's something special, even if they don't know exactly what it is. If you're considering an E31, I'd focus on the 850i models from 1994 onwards. They had most of the early bugs worked out and represent the best balance of performance, reliability, and value. The 840ci is also worth considering if you want the looks without the V12 complexity. But as significant as the E31 is, our number one pick offers something even more special for the discerning collector in 2026. Pick number 1, BMW E30 3 Series. The timeless BMW E30 3 Series. Built from 1982 to 1994, the E30 represents the purest expression of what BMW used to be. Lightweight, rear-wheel drive, perfectly balanced, and built without compromise. This isn't just a car, it's the foundation of BMW's entire reputation as the ultimate driving machine. Look at the purity of this design. No unnecessary creases, no fake vents, no styling gimmicks, just perfect proportions and purposeful engineering. The E30 established the template that every 3 Series since has tried to follow, and none have quite captured the magic of the original. The cabin is Spartan by modern standards, but everything you need is right where it should be. The large steering wheel, the simple gauges, the manual, everything. All designed with the driver in mind. No distractions, no complications, just you, the car, and the road. The engines might seem modest by today's standards. The base 318i produces just 113 horsepower, while the top-of-the-line 325i makes 168 horsepower. But remember, these cars weigh less than 2,800 pounds. It's all about power-to-weight ratio and handling balance. And the E30 gets both absolutely right. Driving an E30 is unlike any modern BMW experience. The steering is unassisted but perfectly weighted. The 5-speed manual requires deliberate shifts. The rear end will step out if you're not careful, but it does so progressively and predictably. It all comes together to create this symphony of mechanical interaction that modern cars simply can't match. The E30 market has developed fascinating sub-niches that savvy investors are targeting. Clean, original examples are becoming increasingly rare as many have been modified or turned into track cars. Diving boards, the early models with the large chrome bumpers, are particularly sought after by purists. Even original toolkits and owner's manuals can add thousands to a car's value, with complete documentation packages becoming increasingly valuable as these details are lost to time. Current market values vary significantly based on model and condition. A clean 325i typically ranges from $15,000 to $35,000, with exceptional examples reaching $45,000 or more. The 318i can be found for $8,000 to $18,000, making it an excellent entry point. At the top of the market, the legendary M3 commands $150,000 to $300,000. But that's a different conversation entirely. Here's why the E30 is my top pick for 2026. First, historical significance. This is where the modern BMW story begins. The E30 established BMW as the benchmark for sports sedans and created the template that every competitor has tried to copy. You're not just buying a car, you're buying the foundation of BMW's entire legacy. Second, usability. Despite being the oldest platform on our list, the E30 is surprisingly practical. It's compact enough for city driving, fuel efficient enough for daily use, and mechanically simple enough that any competent mechanic can work on it. Parts availability is excellent, and with proper maintenance, these cars are remarkably reliable. Third, the driving experience. The E30 delivers something that no modern BMW can: a pure, unfiltered connection between driver and machine. No electronic stability control, no run-flat tires, no electric power steering, just you, the car, and physics. It's automotive meditation. Fourth, market stability. While other classic cars have seen wild price swings, E30 values have shown steady, consistent appreciation for over a decade. Even during market corrections, they tend to hold their value better than most classics. The enthusiast base is strong, knowledgeable, and growing. The E30 also benefits from what I call the gateway drug effect. Many people buy their first E30 as an affordable classic and then become lifelong BMW enthusiasts. This creates constant demand from new buyers entering the market. When shopping for an E30, condition is everything. Rust is the biggest enemy. Check the rear shock towers, the front strut towers, and the rocker panels carefully. A rusty E30 can quickly become a money pit. Also, verify that the odometer hasn't been rolled back. Many of these cars have been through multiple owners who may not have been entirely honest about mileage. The most desirable E30s are the late model 325i and 325iS cars from 1987 to 1991. They have the best combination of power, refinement, and reliability. The 325iS in particular is showing strong appreciation thanks to its sport suspension, limited slip differential, and distinctive basket weave wheels. If you're looking for maximum investment potential, focus on unmodified, well-documented examples. The market is starting to heavily penalize modified cars as collectors seek originality. A bone-stock 325i with complete records will always be worth more than a modified one, no matter how tastefully done. So there you have it, my top 3 undervalued BMW classics for 2026. But let's take a moment to analyze what makes these particular models stand out in today's market. If we look at production numbers, historical significance, and driving experience, all 3 deliver exceptional value, but in different ways. The E28 offers the most practical daily driver experience with classic looks. The E31 provides the most advanced technology with exotic appeal. And the E30 gives you that pure mechanical connection that's increasingly rare in today's world. But here's something crucial to understand about investing in classic BMWs. Unlike stocks or crypto, these are assets you can actually enjoy while they potentially appreciate. The broader BMW classic market data strongly supports my predictions. In 2025, classic BMW sales at major auctions increased by 43% over the previous year, significantly outperforming both the general classic car market and the S&P 500 during the same period. Let me give you a real-world example. If you had purchased a good E33 25i in 2015 for around $12,000, today that same car would be worth approximately $28,000, a 133% increase in 11 years, and you would have had over a decade of incredible driving experiences. Of course, there are costs to consider. Annual maintenance might run $2,000 to $4,000 depending on how often you drive the car. Storage, insurance, and occasional larger repairs all add up. These aren't passive investments. They require attention and care, but that's precisely what makes them special. In a world of digital assets and abstract investments, these machines offer something tangible, something you can see, touch, hear, and experience. They connect you to BMW's golden era when engineering excellence and driving pleasure were the primary goals, not quarterly profit margins and regulatory compliance. And here's my final thought. While these 3 models represent exceptional value today, the window of opportunity won't stay open forever. As younger collectors enter the market seeking analog experiences that modern cars can't provide, and as BMW's electric future becomes reality, these classics will only become more desirable. The writing is already on the wall. BMW has announced that by 2030, at least 50% of their global sales will be electric vehicles. The days of naturally aspirated engines, manual transmissions, and hydraulic steering are numbered. These E28s, E31s, and E30s represent the last of a dying breed. BMWs that were built when driving pleasure was the ultimate goal. So, which of these 3 BMW classics do you think offers the best value for 2026? Is it the practical perfection of the E28, the technological tour de force of the E31, or the pure driving essence of the E30? Are they genuine undervalued gems, or am I completely off base? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious, have you owned any of these models yourself? If so, what was your experience with maintenance costs and reliability? Would you consider buying one as both a weekend toy and an investment? But here's something I didn't mention in this video that could completely change your BMW buying strategy. There's one particular variant of the E30 that's still flying completely under the radar, trading for less than half what it should be worth. It's a car that BMW only made for 2 years, and most people don't even know it exists. If you want to learn about this hidden gem and discover why it might be the best BMW investment opportunity of 2026, check out this video where I reveal BMW's best-kept secret. Trust me, after watching that video, you'll understand why some collectors are quietly buying up every example they can find. Until then, remember, the best investment is the one that brings you joy every time you turn the key. And with any of these 3 BMWs, that joy is guaranteed.